What's up, co-counsels? Welcome back to I Want a Real Lawyer. All right. So I do not want to keep you guys waiting, but I have to find my notes. So I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna play from my
Focused on.
Mainly on her. We were pulling away from the driveway and kind of just glancing back over at Julie to make sure she got in.
When your sister went back up the driveway to go in the house, when was the next point you had any chance to see the SUV?
When we were passing it.
When you were passing the SUV, where was it located in relation to the house, flagpole?
Directly in front of the house.
Was it anywhere near the flagpole as you drove by?
Probably like a car length from that.
A car length from the flagpole?
Yes, give or take.
Is that the middle, right, or left side
All
of
right,
the house?
so I found my notes. Again, it helped when they actually had a clock here because my timestamps are just off. As far as this witness, I could not remember if his name is Ryan or if it's Brian. It's one of the two. It was was this the beginning? All right. I'm so proud of myself, okay? I recorded What's Up Real Thing. I recorded 2 videos. I could have gone more. I recorded that makes 3. I recorded a Diddy video. I literally just finished it about 2 minutes before I came up here. I recorded, okay, so Real Thing says it's Ryan. Yeah, I could not remember if it was Ryan or Brian. So I recorded a Diddy video, basically just my thoughts on day 1 of jury selection. I'll post that video in the morning because after this live, I'm gonna be done. So I'm gonna have to. Okay, so Ryan Nagel, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna. After this, I'm going to sleep. I only have an hour. Like at 10, let me set my alarm. All right, I'm gonna set my alarm because at 10, I need to get up here. I need to get up here at 10 and be ready for tomorrow. But I recorded one short. I recorded the Diddy video. It's gonna take me some time to edit that though, but I can do it in the morning because I talk really reckless, like I'm just out of control. Anyways, I hope you guys had a good day. Let's get into Karen Reed though. I wanted to focus more on. I'll give a brief summary. All right. So this Ryan Nagel, the gist of his testimony, he went to go pick up his sister Julie from the Alberts. Listen, when this man was testifying, to me, he sounded like he was still drunk. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, but I don't know if it's his demeanor, but he sounded off. Um, anyway, so the bulk of his testimony was basically him saying that he did not see anybody other than Julie enter the Albert home or leave the Albert home. Okay. Um, all right. And then when it came to cross examination, basically he testified that from his purview, he could only see Karen Reed. Okay. The passenger seat appeared to be empty. And then he conceded on cross that there was no yelling, no arguing, or anything of that nature. Nothing appeared tumultuous in that SUV. Okay. And then here's my thing though. So while the defense was cross examining Ryan, the line of cross examination to me appeared a little, again, defense does not, they don't bear any type of burden. Okay. This is all on the prosecution. But during the questioning of Ryan, to me, as far as whether Ryan saw, what's his name? Whether Ryan saw John O'Keefe or not, some of that questioning appeared along the lines of whether John O'Keefe was in the vehicle or not. And it was somewhat contradictory in the sense that the defense is not arguing that, Karen Reed was not there, did not drop this man off. So I don't know. I just had issues with some of the line of questioning, but that's neither here nor there. So during redirect, I'm drawing a blank on these names. I'm terrible with names. I've said this before. Brennan, there we go. So during redirect, Brennan wanted to focus on the tail light and what Ryan Nagel's observations were. Okay. According to him, if I remember correctly, I don't believe he observed any broken tail lights or anything along those lines. And then, oh, they brought the prosecution is messy. They brought Ryan Nagel's ex-girlfriend to testify. Apparently, they could not stay together. So I believe her name was Heather, if I'm not mistaken, and she saw a male and a female in the vehicle. She did not see anybody enter the house. So that was really the gist of her testimony. And then we have Sarah Levinson, who is a friend of Julie and Ryan. And listen, when what's up, Brooklyn? So when Sarah Levinson took the stand, to me, and not to be harsh or anything, right? Not to be harsh. Again, I do say I have my filters. My filters are not always there, but the way that I was envisioning this night going down, it just sounded like the parents were prepping the next generation of like drunks. That's really what it appeared. That's what it sounded like to me. But they were drinking, being home, and being safe, I suppose. So they were, consuming their alcohol in a safe space. So that's good for them. And then her testimony. Let me see. I cannot make out my own handwriting. So pretty much she was testifying to, who came in and out the house and when. And why did I say former? Oh, I was like, why did I write former client here? But I was thinking again, I often process these cases um, in relation to, you know, cases that I've had or cases that um, I've come across. So I was thinking about, because again, during Sarah Levinson's testimony, I'm trying to envision, the Sarah Levinsons, the Julies, the Jennifer McCabe's leaving this residence and not, noticing a body. Um, right. So that's what I was thinking about. So as far as former client, that's just there was a case. It's not a case that I had personally, but it's a case that was within our law firm where it's not a criminal case. It's workers. Is this worker? Yeah, workers. I'm trying to think. Was it a workers' compensation or personal? No, it was workers' compensation for sure. But unrelated to the work we were doing, there's an elderly woman that was, and again, because I was thinking about this case, um, I'm actually gonna go to 34. I'm gonna go to 34 Fairview. Okay, I've made it a point. I'm gonna go out there this July. I need to make a reminder for myself because I wanted to see what is this? Uh, to me, the biggest issue here, I mean, we still have the thorn of Michael Proctor. But the biggest issue, I think, for the defense outside of Michael Proctor is how nobody else noticed a body laying on the ground, right? I suppose there's snow, there's everything else. But as far as New England is concerned, okay, there are some places that are pitch black, like pitch black. Uh, I've had moments where I've explained to other people that this place is goddamn pitch black, and people do not know what I'm talking about until they come and see how pitch black it is. So I was thinking about the body on the sidewalk on this was January, so it's still kind of dark. Yeah, January is still kind of dark. So I was thinking about how everybody could have potentially missed the body. I was thinking about lighting, and it's not just so much the I mean, it was snowing. Oh, at least there was a blizzard. That's even, more than snow. I'm trying to really think about the environment. I'm going to have to go out there for myself. All right. But going back to that old lady, this lady fell on her, it was in a front yard, I believe. And she laid in a front yard for almost 24 hours before she actually got help. And I mean, she had a serious case of hypothermia and everything else. But um, at the time, I believe, because she has two children, or she had two children, they both passed. But that's what I was thinking about when I was thinking, just in the context of the Julies, the Sarahs, the Jen, nobody noticing a body laying out there. So let's move on. Let's see. I wrote something. I cannot make up my own handwriting. I quickly want to get to. Do I want to get to the paramedic? We need to get to the paramedic. We need to get to the paramedic. That's who we get to. And no, I think this is Sarah. This is the paramedic. Hold on. This is the champion of I hit her or I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Okay. So let's get into the paramedic.
Remember that?
When I was out.
Coming out of the house.
Okay, let's quickly go back there. I'm just trying to look at again because I don't see. I'm trying to figure again where I'm focused on the lighting and I'm trying to see how many, street lights or lampposts they actually have around here. Because if you're not familiar with how pitch black New England is, then it is pitch black.
Was the lights inside the house, from your memory,
Like when I moved, I'm like, shit, you guys don't, what's going on? Where's the light?
illuminating the ground
pitch
near
black.
the flagpole and that fire hydrant?
No,
What's the
The
question?
ground near the flagpole and that fire hydrant?
no.
Yeah, I think, let me go on. I love
When
talking.
you
Jeez.
came out of the house and went to the car, were you looking at or studying the
We
flag?
need to get to cross.
No.
That's what we
Did you later
focused on.
learn information was disclosed?
Guess I'm gonna have to retitle this video because my focus was really on. That was the last witness, I believe, today.
Yes.
That wasn't my question, Your
Oh,
Honor.
go ahead. Ask.
The guardian of, the guardian of the
One of
solo
your best friends
clubs
saying
and
doors closed.
a leaf
How many feet
blower.
away?
Hear anything, so it's hard to.
Was she running around? Taking that video.
She was insinuations and stuff that
No, she was
as we
feisty.
can about his history.
She was real feisty. All right, come on, get into it.
Play.
Indian woman.
Okay. How about on the left? You know who that is?
Oh no.
And then, real thing, as far as your emails are concerned, I'm gonna turn it into an even better idea. I think I'll tell you when I do it. Okay, I'll tell you when I do it. I think I want to start a little segment where we just explore conspiracy theories, but as they relate to the Karen Reed trial. So that's I think that's where it will better fit, and these will be in the style of shorts.
And that time is 6:15:12. If you could continue, please.
I cannot distinguish these people.
The yellow?
Yes.
Okay, continue, please.
That sounds like Brandon, though.
Miss McCabe.
And you didn't?
Yeah, that does sound like Brandon, unless I'm incorrect. Okay, there we go.
Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Good morning.
You indicated that one of the things that is paramount to the life-saving effort or the medical assistance that you and your colleagues provide is to determine what the cause is of the injury, correct?
To determine, just to gather as much information as we can about his history and like recent events that could have
The real thing, if you want to come up here, don't be shy, okay?
precipitated how we found the patient.
What you said on direct examination was, quote, what happened and what's going on, end quote, correct?
Yes.
So for instance, the what happened, you want to find out and differentiate what happened. Is it a gunshot?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. When you're asking what happened or trying to determine what happened, for instance, one of the things you're trying to do is differentiate between a gunshot and a knife wound, correct?
Yes.
Or poison or ingestion of a poisonous substance or a heart attack.
Yeah. In this particular,
I'm
this
not asking about
scenario,
this
it's
instance.
Next question.
Thank you. I'm asking about in general, when you're taking on information, trying to download information at a scene, you're trying to determine, as you
Compound
said,
question.
quote, what happened, correct?
yeah.
That's important to determine, correct?
Yeah.
You want to get the person's age. You want to get the person's date of birth. You want to get the
Compound
person's
question.
allergies, for instance.
Yep.
But you also, paramount among those, you want to find out what happened. Why are we here? Correct?
Yes.
Did a person fall out of a tree? Or
Right.
stumble down a stair step? Correct?
Right.
In doing so, it's important to relay that information to others as well. You would agree with that, correct?
Yes.
That's the whole point, Ms. McLaughlin. You want to gather the information and then let others know exactly what happened and document that as best you possibly can so that the life-saving efforts or the medical assistance can continue for the patient, correct?
Yeah. You have to share the information that you got with the people who are providing care.
And one of the ways you do that is by writing it down, correct?
No.
Sheesh. That girl said
Can I
no.
ask you, who did you speak with before your testimony today, in anticipation of your testimony today?
I met with the DA's office a
Right.
few times.
Who at the DA's office?
Mr. Brennan, a witness advocate, and there were different troopers there at different meetings.
What did you and Mr. Brennan discuss at these? Well, let me ask you, first of all, foundationally, how many meetings were there?
3.
3. When were they?
One in maybe January was just a meeting. One a few weeks ago, we reviewed the testimony from the last
Yeah, they
proceeding.
saw, I mean, Brandon is definitely he's definitely better prepared than Lolly. But when I heard that their first interview was in January, and from my perspective, that's still kind of late. I would have started early, but he probably is either or had other
Proceeding.
things to do.
And then yesterday,
Filing motions.
briefly to say that I'm getting called and I'm going today, and if I had any questions.
Let's talk about the one a couple of weeks ago. Where was that meeting held?
At the DA's office.
And you said you reviewed testimony with whom?
At McDonald's.
I watched the testimony from the first trial. It was Mr. Brennan, myself, a witness advocate, and perhaps trooper.
I mean, the question about, who the witnesses have met with, from a legal perspective, it's really a non-factor, just because, again, attorneys meet with their witnesses all the time. It's actually really expected. Otherwise, you're probably committing malpractice. So you have to meet with witnesses, I guess your clients, if you actually represent a natural person. and go over testimony and prepare, right, for be it a hearing, a trial, whatever proceedings that you're not really representing, but whatever proceedings or the purpose for which they're called. But from a lay perspective, I can understand how, you know, a witness on the stand testifying to the fact that they've met with the DA's office, that could be like a shocking moment for, a lay individual.
Tully.
And
At
you and
that
Mr.
point.
Brennan went over your testimony at the last proceeding, correct?
We just watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There obviously were questions about that
Okay.
testimony once you finished watching it, I'm guessing, correct?
All right, sounds good, real thing. Thank you.
I guess so.
Discussed certain aspects of the testimony, is that right?
Yeah.
Mr. Brennan told
He's a
you
little
that, for instance,
unsure.
he was going to bring out
A
on
lot
direct
unsure.
examination, his examination, your relationship with Caitlin Albert, correct?
He said, I will ask you about the relationship.
And that was in anticipation of me asking about that relationship, correct?
Objection.
She would not know that.
Did Mr. Brennan tell you that he wanted to make sure
She would not
that
know
you brought
that.
out that information so that it wasn't brought out on cross-examination by me?
Objection.
She would not know that.
What did Mr. Brennan say about the reason he wanted to bring out the relationship with Caitlin Albert on cross-examination?
There was no reason that he gave.
But he did tell you that he wanted to make sure that y'all covered that on direct examination during his examination, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did he say something like that?
That girl's she's looking out to the prosecution, basically saying, save me, something along
No.
those lines.
Did you say something like that? I would like this information brought out so it's not brought out on cross-examination.
No.
Yeah.
At the last hearing, when you testified about a year ago, that wasn't brought out on direct examination, was it?
Objection.
What does that have to do with her?
Okay.
What does that have to do with a witness? What on earth? Let us get past this fan. Let's see. I'm excited about video I pre-recorded though. Again, it's very chaotic, so I need to cut.
May I
some stuff
continue,
out.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, we were talking about very briefly your testimony about a year ago.
Prior to
In your
everything.
testimony a year ago, you did not disclose in your initial conversation the fact of your relationship with Ms. Albert, did you?
I object. I move for an instruction.
So the objection sustained. Next question.
Who was it that asked the question
Man, you have to instruct the jurors now.
about Ms. Albert a year ago?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did
No,
you
no,
tell
come on now, Jackson. What is you
Anyone.
doing?
Trooper Proctor,
What did he say?
anyone, Trooper Proctor, any investigator, anybody from the DA's office last year about your relationship with Caitlin Albert?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
No, only when there started to be a lot of harassment and things that insinuations and stuff that started coming out online. I had said maybe once to them that I was concerned I was being harassed.
My question, Ms. McLaughlin, was before the information was disclosed.
Okay, so Real Thing says, what is my opinion of the cross-examination of Jen McCabe on Friday and of redirect? I did not get a chance to watch that. I thought I'd be able to do it this morning, but I did not do that because I was too busy talking about Diddy. Like my video that I put up on Diddy was like, I don't know, 2 minutes or something, but it took me over an hour because I've not used iMovie in probably close to 2 years. So I'd forgotten how to do a whole lot of stuff. So it took me a while to get into it. Yeah, but Friday was busy for me. It was a half day. I only worked until noon, or was it noon or 1 p.m.? One of the two, because I had to I had to entertain my men. Okay, I had to. Yeah, we watched Sinners. We watched Sinners. We went to the movies, whatever, and now I'm getting distracted. We watched. I'm not a movie person. That's why I'm up here talking about criminal cases. I've never really been a movie person. I'm more into documentaries. Today's what, Monday? So on Saturday, or was it Sunday? I don't know. On Saturday, we watched soundtrack to a coup d'etat, and that was basically a documentary about the CIA's implication in Patrice Lumumba's assassination. I mean, eventually, I think it was Belgium that actually ended up assassinating him. He is from, or he was, he is no longer here. Um, he was from the Congo, and in any event, that's the type of stuff I prefer to watch, or give me a documentary about, even the first 48, give me that. So I know you didn't ask me real thing, but I'm just going to talk about Sinners a little bit. It was, I don't know, it was hard for me to watch. I think there were way too many jump scares, which were unnecessary. I thought that the movie was overly sexualized. I mean, for somebody that does actually talk about penises a lot, I thought it was overly um, sexualized. And I said the same thing to my man, and he was like, they only had like 3 sex scenes in there. But I still thought that it was a lot. I just thought it was unnecessary. The soundtrack itself was actually really good. Um, yeah, I like blues. The soundtrack was brilliant. It was good in the context of the movie because I listened to the soundtrack just in my car. Even my daughter was like, "What is this music?" So, anyways, let us move on. That's a long way of saying that I did not get to watch the rest of that because I was working. I was working. Yeah, but I'm proud of myself. On Friday, I got a demand out. I sent out a demand to an insurance company, and I got a whole bunch of other things done. What's up, Allie? Shout out to Allie. And then Real Thing says that today Brennan requested the judge to give jury instructions several times, and she never did it at all today. Bev was feeling it. Yeah, I don't know. That is Bev Canoni for you. That is Bev Canoni. All right. Okay. Yeah. So, real thing is with me. I don't know. It's weird to me, in my opinion. Uh, when it comes to sex scenes in the movie, I'm like, listen, if you want to make a porno, make a porno. If you're gonna make like a soft core, whatever, do your thing. Like, shout out to you. But usually from my perspective, a lot of that stuff is unnecessary. It is unnecessary, but they do say that sex sells, so maybe that's, maybe that's where they're going. But yeah, I definitely think it's unnecessary, so we're together on that. Okay, so Ali listened to the start of it on Friday but did not get far. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, that's actually a good question. What did you think about it, Real Thing?
Which was during the first proceeding.
Objection.
Let's hear the question.
Before that information was disclosed during the first proceeding, in any of your interviews with Michael Proctor or anybody else from the DA's office, did you disclose, from the Massachusetts?
And here's the thing, going back, I'm just going back to, the judge's failure or refusal. Maybe she's been reading the comments and folks are like, she's so biased. In any event, oh, her refusal to give the jury instruction, again, I don't know, but I don't know why she'd refuse to do that, because here's the thing. I've said this before. Sometimes attorneys, again, the questions are not evidence. Okay, I guess from a literature perspective, that makes sense, or a procedural perspective that makes sense. But to somebody that's a spectator, you're really listening to the question as well as the answer. Okay. And sometimes attorneys do ask questions that they know are objectionable because, again, once you've rung the bell, it cannot be unrung, and the jury have already, or the jurors have already heard the question. So I do not know why she is refusing to give the instruction, but
Or anybody
that's
from
fair.
the office, did you disclose, did you volunteer that you had a relationship with people out before the first proceeding?
Yeah, I'm saying I told the DA about the harassment and the insinuations. That was before the first trial when I met with them.
How was there harassment and insinuations if it hadn't been disclosed?
What's up, Benji?
Because it's out there everywhere on the internet and has been.
Before the first proceeding, Ms. McLaughlin,
It's-
before you ever testified.
Yeah, there's no question about that, Allie. They definitely have way too many sidebars. And this is even for people that have a lot of pretrial motions. So I don't understand. Usually the pretrial motion should clear a lot of things up and everybody should know where they stand. But I don't know.
That's my question. Do you understand my question?
It's been going on
Did you have a good
since
weekend,
before the
Benji?
first proceeding.
If you hadn't testified at the first
Real
proceeding,
Thing said
at which
that
point it was
Alan Jackson was excellent with Jen. She thinks that his cross-examination on Friday was better than his cross-examination, of Jen last year, the first trial, okay? Okay, and then Alice says you can never just unhear something once it's said. People said what they said. Right, you definitely cannot, like, what? It's out there. It's out there. It's out there.
was revealed, how could you have ever suffered any harassment for it? It wasn't disclosed yet, Ms. McLaughlin. Do you understand?
I don't think you
I
understand.
think this is the advantage of a retrial for both parties. Both sides actually get a do-over, and both sides get to improve. We've seen it with the prosecution or the Commonwealth bringing on Brandon, and for the defense, we've seen it with Alessi. I still think that Alessi does a better job of cross-examining, but there was somebody today. I cannot always distinguish Alessi's voice from Yannetti. I cannot quite distinguish the voices, but one of them cross-examined today, and I thought they did. I did not write it down. I did not write down who it is who was being cross-examined, but it was classic cross-examination and very good control of the witness.
And what I'm saying.
Did I complete my thought? Anyways, what I was saying is that the defense bringing on Alessi, I think, is good for Karen Reed.
Did you tell at the DA's office?
The relationship that I had with Caitlin Albert had been out there. It had been published and proliferated on the internet.
A good
So
time.
that was before
Ellie
the
said,
first
smash that
proceeding.
like button, okay?
DA's office about this before the first proceeding.
I don't remember who it was or the meeting, but
Was it Mr. Lowry?
it could have been.
Do you have a memory of that?
Not specifically. I don't remember who it was.
Was it Mr. McLaughlin?
I missed some parts of today's testimony, like here and there, because I often had to get up from my chair.
Like I said, I don't remember
Not you,
specifically.
obviously, Miss Laura McLaughlin, no relationship.
Like I said, not specifically.
All right, come on.
34 Fairview. You responded to the call of a unresponsive male in the snow.
Right.
That was early morning hours of January 29th, correct?
Yes.
Once you were there, Mr. O'Keefe had been placed on a gurney and moved to the ambulance. you were instructed to go get information about the victim.
Yes.
You've just statement was made by my client,
It's
correct?
taking too long for me.
Yes.
That was a situation in which you're standing there, Ms. Reed is standing there, Ms. McCabe is standing across from you, and there's
Miss Reed was on the right, Miss McCabe was on the left, and then there was a officer kind of diagonal across from me.
that person was
Yes.
just a still shot.
Thank you.
This must be like the biggest case out of Canton or something.
Ms. McLaughlin, can you tell me if you recognize the still shot depicted in that photograph?
I recognize me in it. Yes.
And when is that approximately, does that approximate what you're describing as that time in which you're standing there, I'm guessing in the yellow jacket, Ms. Reed's to your right, Ms. McCabe's to your left, and there's an officer standing directly across from you?
Yes.
Is this the time that you indicate that that statement was made?
Around this time.
I'd like to have that marked as next in order, Your Honor. with permission.
And let's move on.
That was standing directly across from you when you indicate that this statement was made.
I didn't know, but I am aware now.
But
Okay, who was
this
that?
statement was made. That was standing. Do you remember the name of the officer that
No.
was standing directly across from you when you indicate that this statement was made?
I didn't know, but I am aware now.
But and by the way, that officer's name is what?
Officer Sarif.
You're describing a situation in which you're standing there. Miss Reed is next to you. Within earshot is a uniformed police officer, and she said, "I hit him. I hit him." Correct?
Correct.
Then he said, "What?" Is that right?
I don't know,
So
for
it's-
folks that actually watch today's proceedings, so what did you make of this firefighter paramedic's demeanor? I believe last name is McLaughlin.
I hit him. Miss McCabe interjected, and then she said, "I hit him." And then the officer said, "You what?" And then she said, "I hit him." And he said, "Go get Goody down here."
Okay, so is that 3 times or 4 times that you indicate she said I hit him?
4 times.
And you, according to you, you indicate that at the time that Ms. Reed made these statements, she was hysterical and somewhat out of control. Is that right?
She was upset. I would say hysterical. Yeah.
Okay, so Real Thing says
Did you
that what we found out during this cross-examination is that the other 2 first responders may not directly have heard Karen say I hit him because they were in the ambulance working on John O'Keefe with the metal doors closed. But I always thought that, or at least that was my understanding. The way that I understood the I hit him, admission was that they were made to a female paramedic. I did not know that, any of the other first responders would have been privy to the statement.
describe her last year as obviously upset, overly frantic, and almost hysterical?
Yeah, I believe it. I remember that.
If we could play Exhibit 4,
Okay.
Okay.
starting at 9.
I wonder, does anybody have a
Sorry,
good
9:15.
timestamp for
About 9:46.
the guardian of the leaf blower? Because that's really who I wanted to listen to. Because again, I just, I don't know how they investigated this case, but
Can you stop it?
they did.
Did you see the 2 people enter from screen right?
Yes,
Who is that?
that would be myself
just-
and
Yeah,
Miss
I'll
Reed.
just,
Okay,
I'll let it play out. I think I've come upon when, when he pulled out his leaf blower. So I'm probably just gonna have to make a separate video on that. I don't know. It's supposed to be a short, so hopefully it doesn't take me too
This is
long.
the first point at which you and Ms. Reed begin to converge with the other two individuals, Ms. McCabe and the officer, correct?
I had started trying to gather the information prior to this, and then she was moving around, so I had kind of was following her, asking the questions, and then we eventually came, here to this point and came to a stop.
So your answer is yes. This is the point at which you converged with Ms. McCabe and the
Yes,
officer.
yes.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and play it.
Okay, where's the Karen supposed to be over here?
You can pause it. You see yourself sort of in the foreground in the bright jacket.
Yep.
And Ms. Reed's just on the other side of you, correct?
Yes.
Just on
Right,
the other
jacket.
side?
Yep.
Which other
You
side?
see yourself sort of in the foreground in the bright jacket.
Yep.
And Ms. Reed's just on the other side of you, correct?
Yes.
Standing there.
Yes.
Oh, I see her now. Yep. I think as far as this case, I've pointed out, what the biggest problems are for the prosecution. And I know that it was sometime last week, I believe on Wednesday or Thursday, the Real Thing asked if, I thought there were any weaknesses in the defense case. I'm not going to phrase it that way because, again, the defense does not have, an obligation to put on anything. But there's something that has been bothering me as it relates to Jan McCabe and Kerry Roberts' testimonies. I'll create a short video on it. I should be able to get it out. I'll create a short video on it just to address it. So I'm not necessarily going to say that it's a weakness in the defense case because, again, the defendant has no obligation. He's cloaked or she is cloaked in the presumption of innocence and, enjoys the privilege against self-incrimination. But there's an aspect of Karen Reed's conduct that has actually been troubling me for the past. It's not something I considered during the first trial. It's not. It's not even something I really paid attention to. But it dawned upon me when Kerry Roberts testified, and then as of last week, it has been bothering me a lot more since. So I'll put it in a video. I think that I'll make that my first conspiracy, my first Karen Reed conspiracy. So it will be a short or shorts. I don't have time to sit through this silence.
That's the
All right, ask your question, sir.
Ms. McLaughlin, during that video, that's the time in which you say, or you claimed last year that Ms. Reed was, in your words, obviously upset, overly frantic, and almost hysterical, correct?
Yes.
Did she look almost hysterical in that video?
She was, well, in that video, that could not explain what that scene was like.
Did she look overly frantic in that video?
She was frantic throughout the whole scene. I think that was
Why don't you keep it right?
me describing the entire scene.
I see.
Yeah.
So she did not look overly frantic in that video.
She was upset for sure.
Was she overly frantic and almost hysterical in that video? Just now.
I don't know that you could really see from that video.
Did you see anything that appeared to be overly frantic and almost hysterical?
Like I said, that video is not really you can't hear anything, so it's hard to.
Was she running around?
She had been.
I didn't ask you if she had been.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that happened. When she's standing there with you, was she running around?
No, she had just stopped running around.
Was she gesticulating?
I don't know.
Do you know what that means?
I don't.
Was she
Okay,
using her
so
arms?
Ali says that Ellie's pretty much saying that every day you learn something new about this case. I can no longer read that. Oh, there we go. There are so many people involved, and everyone has a different story, or they remember even people who were together at the same time. I think that is normal. Not even that I think, that is definitely normal. Um, if you have to consider how you would tell the same story over and over again, it's not to say that it's not going to be consistent, but you're not going to use the same language or descriptors all the time. So that does make sense. I'd be more concerned if everybody was saying the exact same thing. That's a lot. I don't know. Maybe a little too much scripting.
Going crazy? With the hands and
Um,
arms and running in circles?
She had been, but
didn't
like
ask
I
you if she
said,
had been.
yeah, but I
I'm asking
think
you about what happened before you
you're-
got there. I'm asking
so-
you what happened when, I'm sorry,
Question and answer, please.
thank you. I'm not asking you what happened before we got to that video. All right? I'm asking you about the video in which you described her previously as being overly frantic and almost hysterical. Did she look like she was just gesticulating and moving her arms and spinning in circles?
not in that video.
Okay, thank you. And
Okay.
according to you, that's the point at which Ms. McCabe said, I think you need to calm down, correct?
Yes.
And according to you, that's the point at which Ms. McCabe said, you're hysterical, correct?
Yes.
Just so I'm clear, who in that video, Ms. Reed or Ms. McCabe, appeared to be doing most of the talking?
You cannot see from that video.
Who in that video
I don't know.
appeared to be gesticulating with her arms? My client or Ms. McCabe?
I think Miss
I
McCabe
did
was
not see that.
doing that, saying you need to calm down. You're hysterical.
Oh, the whole time she's gesticulating, she's saying, calm down, Karen, you're being hysterical. Calm down, you're hysterical. And just repeating that?
She was trying to get her to stop and to calm down because of the statement she was making,
I see,
and she was trying to get her to stop, calm down.
I see, okay. So during that entire video, that was probably 40, 50 seconds or so, maybe it's a minute. That's when you're saying now that Ms. McCabe was gesticulating and saying, calm down, Karen, you need to stop making statements.
No,
Calm down.
you need to calm down because you're all red. For the folks that actually watched this, what was your sense of cross examination, and what was your sense of the witness's demeanor?
Calm down, right? That's what she was doing.
Yes.
Well, you'll agree that Ms. Reed was standing.
I don't know.
relatively
Everybody
quiet.
seems so calm over here today. Like, what's going
To
on?
your right, not saying much of anything.
No, what she had just said, she had seemed upset when she said that. And what she said was obviously Miss McCabe was trying to convince her that that was not, you need to calm down. Stop saying that.
Right in front of a police officer who never said he heard her say it.
Objection.
Correct?
Sustained.
That's already in.
You were standing
Shout out to the court
18
officer.
inches,
We
2
see you,
feet
girl.
from Officer Seraph, correct?
I don't know exactly.
Well, give me an idea. I mean, 2
I-
feet, 3 feet, whatever.
He was standing near me.
And he was standing even closer to my client, wasn't he?
Yes.
At this moment, when you claim to have heard the "I hit him" repeated 4 times, where was Officer Flamati? I'm sorry, where's firefighter Flamati and firefighter Nuttall
In the ambulance.
with the doors closed?
Yes.
Okay, so there we go. I did not hear
In
any
the
of it today.
ambulance, this is my ignorance. I'm assuming the engine was running.
Yep.
I'm assuming that there's some sort of heating system inside that ambulance to keep it nice and warm for patients?
Yes.
That was running as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
So with that door closed, those doors closed, how many feet away, by the way, from where we're looking? How many feet away? How many yards away?
I don't know. We were fairly close to the ambulance.
Further than you and I are from each other right now, or closer?
I think closer.
Okay. How about now?
I'm not sure. The ambulance was behind us. I'm not sure how close we were.
Right. At least a few yards.
Sure.
Okay.
I
And
go
those
then,
doors
sure.
are
Oh, by the way, what's her name? I've had such a long day. Hold on. Lori Vallow Daybell is appealing her conviction. Okay, pretty much in line with what I suspected, as far as the juror that was interviewed that talked about how he was sympathetic to not Karen Reed, sympathetic to Lori because she was already serving life sentences. And again, based on that interview, it sounds like he was privy to that information prior to a verdict actually being reached. But Lori she's appealing. All right, she's appealing.
the thick, secure metal doors that lock. Is that right?
Yes.
Obviously, when you saw them, I mean, I know you don't know what was happening inside the ambulance, but when you saw them, firefighter Nuttall and firefighter Flamati were engaged in life-saving measures with Mr. O'Keefe, one doing the bag, one doing chest compressions as they entered into the ambulance, which you did see, correct?
Yes.
When those doors closed, would you presume, from your experience, that those life-saving measures and their focus was on John O'Keefe, that continued?
Yes.
Okay.
You testified that you went back to the ambulance at some point and you told firefighter Flamati and firefighter Nuttall what you claim to have heard. You told this jury, correct?
I went back to.
Go back. Hold on. What?
What you claim to have heard. Firefighter Flamati at some point and you told firefighter Flamati and firefighter Nuttall what you claim to have heard. You told this jury, correct?
I went back to the ambulance after that and I told them what was said and gave them the demographic information that I got.
Okay. So in other words, firefighter Flamati and firefighter Nuttall heard it from you. You didn't say it to somebody else and they reported it to those two. They heard it directly from you, correct?
I went back and I said, I gave the demographics and I said, she's saying I hit him.
Right. So in other words, they heard that from you.
I gave them.
Is
Objection.
that yes or no?
Objection.
She answered the question. Next question.
Okay. All right. So let's think about this for a little bit. I guess I should have been writing everybody's name down. Hold on. Because I should put dates on this stuff. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what the first witness's name was. Because again, if I remember correctly, his account was not so much that I hit him. His account was, did I hit him? Okay. So I do not know that that is the same individual that was supposedly in the ambulance that this witness went to. Yeah, I need to do a better job. I need to start writing names and putting dates on here. Because, maybe that was it. Hold on. I just closed it. Day 2. No, day 2 was Jennifer McCabe. Never mind. As far as day 1, Timothy somebody. Timothy, that was the first witness. Timothy, I don't have a last name. So that does not help me.
I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Never mind. I'm looking at my my notes regarding Timothy's statement here. And actually, Timothy's statement actually says, I hit him, not did I hit him. It's I hit him.
About your relationship with
Or his
Caitlin Albert.
testimony.
You were asked at a hearing about a year ago, back in May last year, May 3rd.
Okay, so Real Thing.
About that relationship. Do you remember what your answer was?
Real Thing says that I think, or she thinks it was a decent cross. She already knew he was going to try to impeach her on several things, and she knew he'd bring up her relationship with Caitlin Albert over the years. I mean, that girl said they were not friends, all right? She said they were not friends. They just hung around the same circles and they breathed in the same air. And then Real Thing says, we already knew that Kevin Albert, who is a detective with CPD, and he's a brother of Brian Albert, set up this witnesses interview with Michael Proctor during his interview. Listen, they need to focus. I don't like the fact that defense has taken the gas and the pedal off of Michael Proctor. That's who they need to focus on. There we go. Timothy Nuttall. I never wrote his last name down. I just remember him to be Timothy. Ellie says, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, okay? All right, let's
No, not specifically.
question.
About that relationship. You remember May last year, May 3rd, as a matter of fact, 2024. About that relationship. Do you remember what your answer was?
No, not specifically.
Cancel.
You remember saying in response to the question, who's Caitlin Albert? Asked by me.
I don't remember specifically what I said.
Did you say, I went to high school with someone named Caitlin Albert?
Have the page number in line, please.
May 3rd transcript.
That girl said they just happened to be at a baby shower and on the beach and everywhere else. And they just, I don't know.
10-24.
No relationship.
Did you say, I went to high school with someone named Caitlin Albert?
I believe so.
Refresh your recollection.
She's looking to the prosecution.
Sure.
Let me try and skip. I really should be going to bed, but I just want to take a look at the guardian of a leaf blower. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. The guardian of the leaf blower. I think this was direct. Wasn't this direct testimony? Or was this cross?
Who's the person holding the leaf blower?
That is me.
Champion.
Did the leaf blower work as you had hoped?
It was great.
He said, that man said it was great.
Do
Okay.
you see other footprints around that area?
Correct.
Do you know how those footprints got there?
Some of them were from first responders. Some of them were for witnesses. The ones up top by the flagpole were for when the officers put out the crime scene tape.
Did officers try to wrap the crime scene tape around the flagpole?
They did wrap it around the flagpole, yes.
I see.
That
And from
man
that
said it was
vantage point,
great.
could you see the side and front yard?
Yes.
Did the side yard have any footprints or evidence that anything was dragged through the side yard?
No, not at all.
How about the
I don't know.
front?
Is it just me or is Karen Reed's demeanor a little different today?
Or did the front yard have any evidence that anybody had walked across it or dragged anything across it?
It had one set of prints from Sergeant Lank.
Other than Sergeant?
Right. We have to go back. Were there any dog paws over there? Because I think I brought up this question. I raised this question sometime last week. Because, again, I would like to believe that if little Chloe was out there, there would definitely be some proof in the form of, prints. Yeah, I'd like to believe
Lang's
that.
footprints across the front yard. Was there any other impediment?
No, not that I saw.
I'm going to ask if we could see the second video, please, Ms. Gilman.
Look at that. He's blowing himself.
Could you stop there, please?
These are serious police investigative techniques right here.
You see the end of
He's
the
doing
leaf
his
blower?
thing.
I do.
There's an object just below it at like 7 o'clock. Do you see that?
I do.
Did you discover something in that area?
We did.
What did you discover?
It's a cocktail glass.
Was it, did it have any damage to it?
It did.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to I'm gonna have to re-listen to this testimony. Okay, the reason why I have to re-listen to this testimony because again, I just do not remember if the cocktail glass was found under John O'Keefe or if it was just next to him. But I do have questions. I have questions about
Describe that for us.
It was broken on the top.
Could you continue the video, please, Ms. Gilman?
Okay, so it's broken on the top. I wish we had a better angle, right? Like what we're looking at right here. How far is this from the actual road? Is this supposed to be the sidewalk itself? I have real questions. Real questions that I don't know that the prosecution has answered some of my conspiracy questions. Look at the man. The man said it was great.
Stop, please.
Let's see. What time did Jan McCabe leave? Was that around 2 a.m.? I'm gonna have to get my timeline.
There's some red spots. Is that what you identified as coagulated blood?
That is.
Below some of those spots and to the left, there's an area that's not white. It's brownish. Do you know what that is?
That's, I believe, just bare ground.
If we could finish the video, please.
I don't know. She's just not. I'm answering Real Thing's question. I mean, last week. Let's go back. Let me pick again. I did not watch on Friday, so that does not count. I'd like to think it was a Wednesday or Thursday, but there have been days where she was more. There was more communication going on between her and her attorneys. I've not seen much of that in today's proceedings, where it's more, it's kind of like everybody to themselves type of deal. So I don't know. She's usually smiling. I don't see her smiling. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so Real Thing says, SO, since the cocktail glass is a smoking gun for you, why was it found 8 to 10 feet from the road? Now that I wouldn't call it a smoking gun. It's not a smoking gun for sure, but I did have questions about it. And that's what I could not remember. I could not remember if the glass, and I don't even know that this is the glass. Was this the glass from the bar and grill place? I don't quite remember if it's the same glass or not. But if I remember correctly from the first trial, I believe a glass was found under him, but I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure if it was found under him. And again, whether it's next to him or beside him, it definitely, I think it does play a role to some extent, but I'm just, there are a lot of things about the fact in this case that kind of do not make sense. Okay, so apparently Real Thing has picked up on some sarcasm. of sarcasm. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to process this stuff. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm already 7 minutes after my bedtime. I need to edit some videos. So I need to edit some videos. I don't know that I do it tonight. I'm probably gonna do it before I head to work. As far as tomorrow is concerned, I will not be live tomorrow. Okay, I won't be live tomorrow. Um, I'm changing my schedule just for May because May is so freaking crazy for me. I think it's May and September. They're going to be really outrageous because I just have a lot of work to do. There are a lot of cases that I need to get in line for settlement. But apart from that, there are a lot of things that I personally have to do. Um I have like a 6 month countdown where I have to get certain things in order. So yeah, I'm gonna restrict my I'd already said that I was going to be up here today, so that's why I showed up. But for May, I'm changing my live videos to where I only come up here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, so it will be more condensed. That way, I'll have my timestamps good and ready to go. That's the hope. Okay, but in any event, there are a lot of things that I have to get done on my personal end. I've not been reading as much as I should be reading, so I need to get back to that. And I have to work on a whole bunch of stuff. I have to work on my business plan. That's not done. It should have been done. It should have been done by June. And I mean, man, I'm still not done. So I have things to do. Okay, so again, we're at least for May, we're changing the schedule. It will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll see how that works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, too bad. Too bad. Okay. All right. So Real Thing says that it cannot be processed because none of it makes sense. And then you have Tuesdays and Thursdays. Benji said it sounds good. And then Real Thing says good night. Yeah, I think I'll definitely get a lot more done in my personal and professional life. But then I think we can probably have more substantive conversations when we have specific timestamps to actually talk about and discuss, as opposed to just sitting. I mean, I do love talking, and I could watch this stuff over and over again. But I need to tighten up. I definitely need to get my life in order, and that includes reading because I've just been slacking. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. I will not be here tomorrow, but I'll definitely be watching and taking notes. I probably cannot watch all of tomorrow, though, because I do have a client coming in. And then a Wednesday, I'll watch what I can, but I have a CLE. Shoot, when is the 7th? Today's what? Today's the 5th. That's 5, 6. I think I may have double booked myself. I have 2 CLEs on Wednesdays. Oh no, I don't know. I have to figure it out. I have to. It sounds like because I just registered for another CLE this evening, and I already was scheduled for a CLE that I don't know. I have to figure. Obviously, it sounds like things are a mess over here. So I need I need to get my calendar together. But I will be watching, and then we will reconvene on Thursday. Let's start a bit early. Should we start early? Okay, we'll start either at 8 or 8:30 p.m. One of the two times, either 8 or 8:30 p.m. and then we'll take it from there. All right, folks, I do have a video coming out. It's recorded. I just have to edit the video. It's a Diddy video. Um Diddy again. I don't know. Diddy, I don't know. That is Diddy v. the big government. He is up against the big government. In any event, I did record the video before I came up on this live. I just have to edit that video. My goal is to have it out before I head to work. So I should probably be going to sleep. So I get up early enough to edit the video. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out. We will reconvene on Thursday. It's either going to be at 8 or 8:30 p.m. You guys have, enjoy the rest of your week, okay? And then real thing, I'll be looking forward to your conspiracy video. All right.